What is going on, everybody? Tyler Brandt back here with another video, and it is officially Draft's Eve. Let's call it the eve of the NFL Draft. Tomorrow is NFL Draft Round 1. I can't wait. Yesterday was, especially at the back half of yesterday, it was it was kind of a tough day. I mean, of course, according to the, in reference to the Gronk news, it's bittersweet. It kind of, I don't want to get too dramatic, but it's true. I mean, it reopened that Tom Brady's not here wound, and that was the first real domino straight to the face of everyone in New England that, Brady's not here, so I don't want to be here. And Gronk made the choice. He comes back, and, he comes back and just doesn't want to play in New England. He's done with Bill Belichick. He wants to go with Tom Brady and Bruce Arians and have fun in Tampa Bay. Thank you, Gronk, for a lifetime of memories. You are to me, in my opinion, probably the most dominant tight end in the history of the NFL. I mean, if there's a stretch of period where you are the number one tight end in the NFL by a large margin and the greatest to ever play, people are going to say Tony Gonzalez because of the longevity, which I completely understand, but I don't think there was any football player, at least to this point, that has dominated like Rob Gronkowski when he was out on the field. And even in 2018, as an almost one-dimensional player, as just a blocker, he was fantastic. He made the catch that virtually locked up a Super Bowl against the Rams. So, thank you for a lifetime of memories. I still love Gronk. I still support Gronk. I'm still a little part of me rooting for Tampa Bay, although I'm mad at them. But if New England can't be successful, if, Brady wants to go in 7-8 and wants to host the first Super Bowl at home, then good for him. Good for that Tampa Bay team. But anyway, for the little preamble, that's over. I'm Tyler Brandt, and today we are really in the guts of this video talking about a very interesting conversation that I saw on First Take, actually, a couple days ago. I really hate First Take now. I'm a big Skip Bayless guy, and he's not there anymore. I, along with you and every other Patriot fan, should hate Max Kellerman, and I do. And the question was, should the Patriots take a quarterback in the first round? And I want to kind of shout out Damian Woody, who thought that, if you're in love with a guy, yeah, but I don't think that they're necessarily, going all in on taking a quarterback in the first round. So we're going to kind of get into a little bit of whether they should and a little bit of an interesting storm around the draft and kind of what's been going on with some of those quarterbacks in the first round. And it all starts with Tua Tagovailoa. Okay, so Tua Tagovailoa. We know, if you're a football fan, how good he is. He is fantastic, at least as a college football player. He comes in, beats, Georgia in the second half of the national championship game, a loaded Georgia team. We know his story. But here's the thing. Before Joe Burrow steps on the scene, Tua Tagovailoa is the guy. He's probably by far the best quarterback prospect coming out. And Joe Burrow has his season, and now it's kind of like a 1-1A thing. I think if you really break down the numbers, I think Tua is probably a little bit better, at least at the collegiate level. But Joe Burrow had the perfect season with the perfect cast of characters and the perfect head coach. And everything fell in line to get the praise he deserved, and rightfully so, be the number one pick in the draft unless Cincinnati really goes crazy. Or another team goes crazy, who knows. So it seemed like Tank for Tua to Miami was going to be a lock. Seal it, lock, sock, loaded. But all of a sudden, the injury concerns pop up. And now, for some people, Tua Tagovailoa seems to be falling in some draft stocks. Now, we will talk about the injuries. That's what made him sink a little bit. The big one was the hip. And in this current pandemic that we are in, it's very hard for teams to get their doctors' hands on him. No team's doctors in the NFL have gotten their hands on Tua Tagovailoa. It's just been what he's put on tape and what some neutral doctors have said. That's going to make teams weary, rightfully so. I watched the tape of him working out. He can rip that freaking ball. He looks fantastic. But talking about the injuries, he started 2 years at Alabama and the bowl game, of course, when he won the bowl game coming in for Jalen Hurts. But he has had 5 injuries: a broken left index finger, a sprained right knee, a left high ankle sprain. All of those he missed in no time, played through the injury. Right high ankle sprain, which he missed the game. And of course, the 2019 hip injury, which in the grand scheme of things, he missed 3.5 games. So, with that being said, because Bama doesn't make the college football playoff, that's 2 less games that their starting quarterback would play. But is it as big of a concern as people are making it out to be? I personally don't think so. I think he looks like the best quarterback in the draft. A short lefty scares me a little bit. It does make me a little weary. But then this week, Saban doubles down. And he comes back and he defends Tua and he says, don't make the same mistake he did with Drew Brees. Doubling down on his quarterback. Love that to have his back. Here's where things get a little bit more interesting. All of a sudden, Justin Herbert, his draft stock is just on a meteoric rise right now. People have Miami taking him and Tua going to the Chargers. And all of a sudden, this perfect culmination of what the hell could happen on draft night is really starting to culminate. So the question would be, where does Tua go? And if Tua falls a little bit, would Belichick or would New England be right to make a move to go get your guy? If you think he's your guy, something that I've always believed in is if you think that that's your guy, you do whatever it takes to go get him. If it means that he's going to be your quarterback for the next 50 years. But looking back in the history of New England, since Bill Belichick has been there, the highest that he's drafted a quarterback was the 2nd round, and it was Jimmy Garoppolo. And for all intents and purposes, he nailed that pick. A 2nd round pick. The guy started a Super Bowl, no matter what you think of him, started this past Super Bowl. Whether he should have been in New England, that's a conversation for a different day. But he clearly has an idea of what he's doing and knowing a quarterback that he wants. If you go a little further back into the 3rd round, he's definitely missed on his fair share of 3rd round picks. Ryan Mallett, pretty sure he's out of the league. Kevin O'Connell, out of the league. Jacoby Brissett. Maybe a starter, and who knows where his career trajectory is going at this point. So, I guess the moral of this whole story and this perfect storm, which I think is going to be probably the most interesting storyline to watch on Thursday night, is whether it's worth New England to, if Tua falls past Miami or whoever that 5 and 6 pick is, if New England is worth putting all their eggs in the basket, which now they, with Tooney, with trading Gronk, now have an extra 4th round pick and an elite guard, if it's worth moving up, if you can get to, a team like Cleveland, who's kind of sitting there at 10, somewhere like that, possibly. I don't know if he'll be there till 10. That's, the beauty of the NFL draft. That's what it really, really is. So, this was kind of just a quick hit video for this Drafts Eve for this Wednesday. Let me know what you think. Sound off in the comments. Sound off on socials. Remember, follow me at The Tyler Brandt on Twitter and Instagram. What do you think? Should the Patriots make the move, go get a guy like Tua if you really believe him? Do you trust Bill Belichick to cash in all those assets to go get a guy like Tua? A short lefty who's won a hell of a lot of games at Alabama? Or do you get a guy like Justin Herbert, who's, again, having a meteoric rise up the draft board? The kid can play. Had a good career at Oregon. Did he fall a little short? Sure, but he's still pretty damn good. I mean, realistically, you can go either way, but like I said, let me know in the comments below. Sound off on socials. Again, I'll wrap it up again. I'm Tyler Brandt. The draft is tomorrow. Happy Draft Eve. Can't wait for it. What are the Patriots going to do? We're now almost a day away from finding out for sure. Until tomorrow, where we will have our final mock draft of draft season before we actually hit the real deal, the real virtual draft. For one more time, I'm Tyler Brandt, signing out. Talk to you tomorrow.